Veteran journalist Tom Brokaw backtracking on Twitter today after comments he made yesterday about Hispanics on Meet the Press. Take a listen.
A lot of this we don't want to talk about, but the fact is, on the Republican side, a lot of people see the rise of an extraordinary, important new constituency in American politics, Hispanics, who will come here and all be Democrats. Also, I hear when I push people a little harder, I don't know whether I want brown grandbabies. I mean, that's also a part of it. It's the intermarriage that is going on and the cultures that are conflicting with each other. I also happen to believe that the Hispanics should work harder at assimilation. That's one of the things I've been saying for a long time. You know, that they ought not to be just codified in their communities, but make sure that all of their kids are learning to speak English and that they feel comfortable in the communities. And that's going to take outreach on both sides, frankly.
Hold on a second on the prompter. I didn't mind Tom Brokaw telling us what he'd heard from other people, okay? Even though some of those things he heard were just unfair and ignorant. What I had a problem with was Tom Brokaw lecturing Hispanic people. The former NBC Nightly News anchor and current correspondent faced immediate reaction from Hispanic leaders. Here's what he had to tweet out. "I feel terrible. A part of my comments on Hispanics offended some members of that proud culture. I am sorry I failed to convey my strong belief that diversity, dynamic, and inclusive is what makes America, America." This afternoon, I spoke with the president of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists, Hugo Balta, about how his organization is reacting to what Tom Brokaw had to say.
I think, look, the comments that he made are not unique to him, but I think as a journalist, it's very important to be able to provide a commentary, even in a platform where you're having debate and discussion, that is based on fact. And studies after studies show the opposite of what he was commenting. The fact of the matter is the majority of Hispanics in the United States are U.S. born and speak English.
Yeah, absolutely. My question is, why not afford the newly arrived migrants or immigrants the same thing you allowed others who came from Europe and elsewhere? The grandparents might be a little late to coming around and becoming acclimated, but the children are in the schools, the parents are in the schools, correct?
Right. Look, assimilation in 2019 is very different than what assimilation was in 2009 and in 1999. The sheer girth and the number of immigrants from Spanish-speaking countries really dwarfs other communities from the past. It's not about assimilation as much as it is about acculturation. And what we see with the Hispanic community is they adopt what's best of the American experience and what's best of their country of origin or where they can trace their roots. It's the 200% when it comes to Hispanics, 100% American and 100% Latino.
And then when you wrap into this conversation, the professor at Duke University who's saying to the Chinese students, you'd best not speak Chinese on the campus. That's not a good idea.
It's short-sighted. Look, we're becoming a more global society. If you look at countries in Europe and South America, they're multilingual. It is an advantage to speak a different language, and certainly Spanish, which is the second most popular language on the planet. In the United States, it represents the second most spoken language outside of English. And so it is very important for difference of languages to be embraced both in academia, in places of business, and certainly in communications.
Yeah, this is a teaching moment. Would you not agree?
Look, I think anytime these situations happen, it is an opportunity to have larger discussions about diversity and inclusion. Because I think when you peel the onion, when you unpack, at the end of the day, that's where it comes down to it. Who are the people that are entrusted both in front of the camera and behind the camera in producing content that is reflective and inclusive of all communities?
Tom Brokaw apologized. I'm not exactly sure what he's apologizing for, but does the organization accept his apology? And where do you take it from here, if anywhere?
As far as the National Association of Hispanic Journalists, we certainly accept his apology. I think right now for us, it's engaging with management at NBC and in other media companies, as we often do in these circumstances, to get a better understanding of just how this situation occurred and then how NAHJ can be a resource in working with them in meeting their goals around diversity and inclusion, around communication, around being more reflective and inclusive of the Latino community and all communities.